Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat, and welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to see you all today. Good to see you, Gale. Good to see you, Darth Saber. Good to see you, Step Zero. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. Hope everyone's doing well. And Gale, congratulations. You have won the crown of Firstendom, the crown of Firth. It is a crown that looks like Colin. Anyway, it's good to see you all. Pyth, nice. And I have some questions about this poll in chat about Best Pie, because Apple isn't on there. I don't think Apple's the best, but I think it's in the running. Also, there's no pumpkin. There's some serious things lacking from this poll. But there are many things lacking in our life, but not today, because we're going to be playing Green Ember. That was a great segue. You think cheesecake is best pie, but poll is insufficient. You only get 5 options. Okay, fair. Fair. I like Basque cheesecake. Anyway, we're playing more Green Ember. We were the rabbit going through the tomb. Anyway, let's go on in. Cherry might be the worst. Ooh. I'm not a huge fan of cherries in general, but I don't know if I'd say worst. Single elimination tournament to discover the best pie. Yes, that was the real goal of creating this channel. You shouldn't have come back. No, I should have, apparently, because I don't remember how to play. Ow. No, why? Oh, right. Oh, these controls are a little weird. What do you need to know about this game? We're Benui. Second. Hey, Brayherd. Oh, hey, Kit. Didn't see you, sorry. Also, arrows are very powerful. Ow, but aiming them is weird. Roguelike? No, yeah, more like as a linear Zelda. So we broke out of this. So we were captured, and we were put to work in this mine. Then we ran away from this mine, but now we're going back because our friend is secretly the prince that's missing. We've got you cornered now. Not if I have anything to say about it. Helmer? Oh, Big Mouth is back. Let's give him a nice welcome party. That guy just despawned. Like, he didn't fall down and die. He just despawned. Helma, you came back. Yes, hello, Harlan. I know my duty. I'm here to help however I can. Good. Go to the prince. You know your way around. I'll free the other prisoners. May your foot find the next standing stone. May your heart be your guiding key. Wait. Anyway, we're probably going to finish this game today because we're about 70% of the way through the game, apparently. Ow! No, stop stabbing. I want you to do a swing. Based off a book series you've never heard of. Yeah, I'd never heard of it until I heard of this game, but it's got Christian themes in it, apparently, the book series. We haven't really come across a whole lot in the game. Chat, I cannot stress enough how weird this combat is. And yes, that's going to be my excuse for me doing poorly. Yeah, aiming is done with the walk button. So if you want to aim a direction, you're going to start walking that direction. I mean, that does happen in the Bible, but that's not automatically that does not automatically make it a Christian book or Christian theme. Oh, look, the lizards have cast the Benuis off. It's kind of like tank gaming, but like not. Because tank gaming, I'd be like, oh, you can at least move. Oh, lizards summon evil flame. Lizards enslave Benui. I wonder if that would feel more impactful if I had, like, read the books. I wasn't going to read an entire series for context of a single video game. Twin stick shooter with a single stick. Yes, that's what it is. Because I want to aim with my right stick, but no, it's all with the left. Is Vampire Survivors a single stick twin stick? Kind of, I guess, except... Nope, yep, no, it is. No, I was attacking. I was attacking. Bad evil Benui. Repent, join good Benui. You have been brainwashed by a lizard. How many arrows does it take to aggro a guy? Apparently Cheesecake won this poll. I find these results dubious. For shame. For as a New Yorker, I do not like Cheesecake all that much. It's fine. No, put the bow away. No, put the bow away, Helmer. Doing a KOTOR 2 playthrough, nice. Ooh, bottle. That's huge. Dodge those bonfires. It's a Souls-like. It's like, it kind of is children's first Souls-like. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I don't get any experience from fighting you nerds, so what if I just didn't? And I use a bonfire to reset you. Summon Night Swordcraft story. Never heard of it. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. Oh, it's big Banui. Poke you in the booty. Chuck you off a cliff. It's legitimately really good. Has way more plot than GBA cards could usually manage. Nice. Ow, I forgot traps. I forgot how traps work. Why are there so many Banui? When am I going to fight Lizard? Lizard. No, no. Why did my auto-targeting just drop there for some reason? Ah! No! Dang it. We got sniped. Why did only like half the enemies respawn? Excuse me. You see, the lizard is performing arcane magical feats for their liege lord. A massive bird! Forming a rock band. No, those are the lobsters. It's a rock lobster. Everything's collapsing. This must be the right way to go. Ah! No! Oh, okay. Okay. No, never mind. Never mind. That went poorly. They decided that my last spot for respawn should be where the things pass by. Chat, what am I standing on? What am I standing on? Standing on business. Boo. Hey, Mel. Is that better or worse than standing on ceremony? Be gone? Oh, there's more lizards in their fire. Thank you for none of you aggroing on me at first. That was really helpful because I almost just, like, walked directly into all of you. Funnels and buckets. Hey, Chizo. It sounds like a made-up swear. Like, aw. Funnels and buckets. Okay, well, neither of us can hurt each other there. What's a franchise I wish had a modern game adaptation? A DOS math game. Well, my statement still stands, I think. I don't know. I think Xanth would be pretty funny to have a modern adaptation. I think you could actually do a game set in the world of Hitchhiker's Guide without it being... I don't know where I'm supposed to be going. Am I supposed to be going further into all of this, or... I think I found an out-of-bounds area. Oh no, I'm stuck. Kingdom Hearts 1 could use a modern adaptation. Oh, you say that like it's a 20-year-old game. Final Fantasy 7. Yeah, do something with like Hitchhiker's Guide, but like I don't think it has to be following the characters of the books. I think it could easily be just in the universe. There's a lot of wacky stuff happening. Like, just lean into it. What if we go this way? What is this way? Oh, this way looks promising. I legitimately do not know where I am supposed to be going. Savior King's Hitchhiker's Guide Politics. Okay, I don't think this is the way because it's a bit of a dead end. Put 7 in 14. Don't give them ideas. They just might. How about a demake? Like, make a version of Final Fantasy VII that's more like Final Fantasy VI, like pixel graphics. I don't know. There's not a lot of franchises I really would say, oh, I wish this had a game at this point that don't. Or just shoot the wall, Helmer. That's cool, too. You're too busy watching Al. Okay, Chizo, I think it may be time to admit that the 80s have ended. Blast powder storage. Well, that sounds explosive and dangerous. Let's go. Up to bed. Hey, good night. Yeah, okay. I don't know what time zone you're in, but good night, apparently. The 80s will return. Look, will? Stranger Things exists. What do you mean there's an invisible wall? Okay, maybe there's a switch up this way. There's certainly all sorts of targets and arrows. Okay. That's 3 of the targets, and that's the door open. Step 0 has redeemed a candy spin. Can't just let this game be what it is on its own. Wheel of Morality. Wait. My stomach just did a flop. Candy will be turning off during Lent this year. So you can all accrue points. You really want to try these? Just go put some salt in your mouth. That's what they taste like. It's just like pure salt. Yeah, sugared plum does sound delicious, but this is plum sugar, great. Salt, okay. Licorice, okay. Aspartame, sure, why not? It tastes like a salt lick. Also good to see you, Hope. Why is it a sugared plum question mark? Because I wasn't sure what to put it as on the wheel. Look, it showed up like this. It doesn't say any. Like its name is Li Hing Mui. So I wasn't sure. Is this like a candied sugared plum? Is it? It's apparently it's a dried plum with sugar and salt. I have been stalling. Like, it's sweet at first, and it's like plum, but then just like pure salt. Oh. And it has a pit, so that's what that was. Oh, so salty. Oh. Like, it is so salty. Jeez, oh, you shouldn't have. But it's sugar. Yeah, it's weird because like it starts out sweet, but then it's like, what did I do today to deserve this? Oh, you legitimately didn't hear. It's the sugared plum. Seriously, Brainerd. What did I do to deserve this today? I celebrated Mass in the morning. I blessed throats. I joined for the blessing of the throats after the 12:10 Mass. And is this because I said I'm taking it away for Lent? Did I miss St. Blaise? It's today. So maybe not. This might work. I can still taste the plum. Freelance candy spin for Melanie. Thank you for the 300 bits, Melanie. I'm afraid I don't. It's got to be for the points. The intercession of St. Blaise, Bishop, and Martyr may be freed from all pain of food. I can still taste the plum, and it's just, it is so salty. It is like saltier than just taking straight. It's like fish sauce. You get away this time, Gadget. Well, you can also spend your points a week from Friday when we do our Donkey Kong 64 crowd control, where you can turn in points for coins to mess with the game. Meat mass. Yeah, the baking candy is not that salty. It's more just smoky. That said, it's still not good. Oh, especially on top of the plum. That is... Oh, that is wicked. What is meat mass? It's when the meat morph guy shows up all vested for mass. Junie drew a special meat morph of me. Here, I'll redeem it as soon as it's done cooling down. In all of the various liturgical colors. Also good to see Inca. There's one. Hey, white. Twice in a row. Are you at work? Oh, no. Well, the blessing of St. Blaise is... Which liturgical color is none? I guess green because of ordinary time? Or do you mean like when it's doesn't appear? Because that's also green. The intercession of the blessing of St. Blaise can be done by lay people, so you could in theory do it. I still have to eat a pine cone. I do want to say, as terrible as these candies are, and they are bad, I do love all of you, and I appreciate you redeeming points and contributing to this nonsense. I do see the Father Joe Cope. I'll get there in a moment. Nope. Oh. Nope. Nope. Oh, it's so close to working. Ah. I do still love you after that. It actually almost saves the pot and cone candy. We did escape the mines, but then we decided we had to go back because we have to go rescue our friend Prester Jack, who is in fact the prince. Anyway, here's a Father joke. My mouth is a panoply of flavors. So, yesterday was Candlemas, which is the end of Christmas tide, not the Christmas season. It's a little bit different, but we'll not get into it. But it reminded me, when I was home for Christmas and hanging up ornaments with my family, I was putting all the ornaments, like, clustered together. And my family's like, what is wrong with you? Why are you doing this? I said, they're ornaments. They like hanging together. Oh, pine cone. Oh, bacon. Yeah. Have you ever experienced all the flavors at once? That was worse than the candy I have? No. No, I have worse father jokes. You'd have 2 nickels? Which is weird that it's happened twice. Plus, Redwall isn't all lagomorphs. Like, it's mostly rats, well, not... Well, yeah, rats are the villains, but, you know, the main here for the longest time is, Martin, who's the mouse. Who is... No! The sprucey one. I love the sprucey one. I love the sprucey one from Hoplark. I shall fire my bow, then I shall put it away, and then I shall fire it again. No, I was healing! Okay, good lagomorph protagonist. Oh, wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. And yes, I do suppose, especially in the first book, which is the only one I've read, there is that one colonel who's a rabbit, who's quite entertaining. Yeah, they did make an animated series out of Redwall. It's pretty faithful, too. It's... Basil Stag Hare of the Long March, yes. Yes, he's great. Keep waiting for it on Blu-ray. I'm afraid you're probably going to keep waiting. Okay, you live down there now. Oh, no, there's 2 of you? If you mean there's 2 of you. Wait, I can just aggro one at a time. This is easy. What's all this purple stuff we're mining? Is this evil crystal? Is it drugs? Is it both? Oh no, if you're firing your bow and you go into a dodge roll, you exit and you're stuck holding your bow and you won't put it away until you fire it again. Devs, I know you're not in chat, but I wish you were, because I actually do enjoy this game. I think it is well presented visually. Controls are pretty good. Sometimes the combat's a little janky, but I think it could be tightened a little, but still pretty good. I have found some glitches I'd like to report. There are actually a couple Redwall video games. They are on the list to be played at some point. There's one that's like an action adventure. There's one that you run an inn. The first one was a visual novel. I won't be doing that because visual novel just doesn't sound the most entertaining for stream. No, no, no. That's okay. You don't see me. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Why are you chasing me? But yes, I do have my eyes on the Redwall game to do at some point. Our next game, though, is Kina, Bridge of Spirits. Because apparently, if you want to make a secular spirituality game, the go-to theme is be a psychopomp. Because we've seen that in Spiritfarer, the one in the desert where we were making the trees. There's a bit of psychopomp in that. And now, Kina. Much of religion is grappling with the question of death. Yes, no, I think it makes sense. It's just, it's kind of funny that within the realm of spirituality, there is a lot more than just psychopomp. Like, even surrounding death itself, but that there are so many games specifically around being a psychopomp. I think Bro is broken. Speedrun of existential philosophy. Keep door closed. You're missing an article there. Okay, that was a little unanimated. Thank you for releasing me. I could help open that big door. Thanks! Also, the guards don't care about you. I don't think the guard's supposed to be standing like that. Think I found the screenshot for the YouTube thumbnail, though. Hey, you've released me. I can help open that big door. Locked. Oh, I'm going to need a lot of rabbits to help me here. Get him! Get who? Boomstative. That's a lot of you. Through the intercession of St. Blaise, Bishop and Martyr, may God free you from every disease of the throat and from every other illness in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. St. Blaise is credited with the intercession of throats because there's a story that he saved a young man who's choking on a fishbone. We don't really know a lot about him. He was bishop in Armenia. He is one of the 14 holy helpers. He's actually mentioned in Marco Polo's writings because, like, when Marco Polo got to Armenia, he was like, wow, these people are really devoted to Blaise. And he knew who Blaise was. I mean, like I say, he's one of the 14 holy helpers. But I think it's a great symbol of the way that God cares for us, body and soul, in sort of a great wholeness. That there are saints to turn to for the intercession of particular parts. So I see all the fighters in this dungeon, but where are all the support staff? The cooks, the janitors? Who does payroll? Well, I think if you're an evil regime in this... I always found the blessing kind of funny, the throat, and also everything else. Well, okay, yeah, but it's covering your bases. Anyway, the 14 Holy Helpers is a list of 14 saints who were credited, particularly in Germany originally, with... all of them are related to illnesses in some way. So you have St. Blaise for throats, you have St. Pantaleon, who's a doctor, and the 14 Holy Helpers were in particular invoked as a group, particularly against the plague. And it became a devotion over time, specifically to these 14 these 14 saints with intercession towards medical care, to the point that there are actually just churches dedicated to the 14 Holy Helpers. I'm gonna go find a bonfire. You're all good, Kit. We were just doing the rota there. St. Blaise. Is this a game about stabby rabbits? Yeah, I've been stabbed by rabbits many times in this game. No, the music's actually been really... Like, there are things about... I don't think this game is bad. I think it's a little rough around the edges. But, like, the music is good. I do think they captured the visual style of the books well, from what I've seen. Like, having looked up some of the art. No! Oh, you hit like a truck. And you fall like a truck. I bet some kind of contraption opens this door. Yeah, but we're gonna activate the bonfire. Like, I think the isometric presentation's done very well. Isometric can be weirdly easy to mess up, in my opinion. Ah, to fight them to escape. What, as if that's not what we were doing already. Ow. Why for the gauntlet? Ow. Oh, it's just so many of them. I'm also out of healing potion. Thankfully, that was the last of it. Okay, I was expecting the camera to revert. Well, we found the sleeping quarters. Ow! Oh, shoot. Okay, that honks. That honks. Because that means I have to be firing my weapons, or my bow, and moving constantly to get these to light. Ow! Or apparently just glitch it. Why is it behaving so weirdly? See, this is where isometric gets weird. Ow. At this point, it's just easier to tank all this damage, I think. No, come on. No, Helmer, please. Helmer, please. If this resets the torches, I'm going to be upset. Okay, it did not. There we go. Haha, take that. Okay, they're all lit. Now what? There's probably another thing on this side. That torch puzzle is evil. Yeah, it... That's one that could have cooked in the oven a little longer. AFK, always following. Thank you for the follow. I heard that. Heard what? Good to see you, Jeesh. Day 2, play the rest. Oh, stick around. It's gonna get much longer than day 2. Excuse me, I was blocking. Ow. Having both of you so close together is a problem. No! I was blocking. Okay, does the gauntlet restart, or does it pick up from where we left off? Because this game, sometimes with its combat, is actually a little nice, and it's like, oh, nope, it's going to restart. Your whole house is a torture device. What did you cut? A white onion? I always find those to be the most potent. What? No, the next wave should not have spawned yet. What do you mean? No. Okay, this has to be a glitch. This is the definition of unfair. No, Helmer, don't use your area attack. That would be useful. No, I think it always seemed to happen when I went to the far side, so I think the game was registering that I was far enough away from the enemies to go, I guess there's no more enemies. We should send in more enemies. It's not good cheese because they're using it against me. It is in fact bad cheese. It's like putting camembert on a pizza. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Oh, the attacking right as they land is good cheese? Yeah, that one is. That one is the mozzarella on the pizza. It is right and just. What about goat cheese? Goat cheese pizza? That's good. Okay, this puzzle, well, also problematic. Nope, I got nothing. It actually is still just a bad puzzle. Helmer, please. You know what? I'll take it. Ow. Why all the arrows? I just looked over at chat and I saw the goat cheese line again, and I thought it said, "What about ghost cheese?" And I was very confused. Your Highness, I'm going to get you out of here, sir. Helmer, what are you doing here? My place beside you, my blood for yours, till the green ember rises for the end of the world. You know the old vow, and I know who you are. Now, let's get out of here. I'm injured, but I will do my best not to slow you down. I'm afraid you've come to the end of your journey. I will not be so easily overcome this time. I'm not some defenseless old buck you can kick around. As much as I relish hurting your father, I will truly enjoy killing you. You're a tyrant, Karn, and all tyrants eventually fall. This little insurrection of yours is over. The fable of the father hero is finished. That's what's different about us. I'm not fighting for myself. Ow. No, but you are getting hurt. And Karn just ran out into the hallway. I thought this was supposed to be the arena. Maybe it is. Karn came back. Ow. Ow. Ow! Excuse me, I'm trying to drink this mosswort tea. He can leave the arena, but I can't. Also, I think there's something wrong with him. Karn's like, oh, I threw my spear. Hold on, I've got to go retrieve it if I'm going to fight you. I jumped right into that. That was an accident. Your Highness, I'm glad you are safe. You too, old friend. Oh, apparently he just fell. Apparently we defeated him. That was rather anticlimactic. You too, old friend. We have to get out of here. Are the prisoners all released? Yes, and they're all on their way out. We need to make sure this place crumbles to the ground. They have rigged to blow... Oh, the whole place up in a series of blast powder keg clusters all over the dragon tomb. I say light the fuse. Are you okay to run with Harlan, Your Highness? I'll be fine. Light it up! I'll see you both on the outside. Let's go. Escape sequence? Escape sequence. Well, that was a short-lived escape. Oh, no, I don't want to go that way. Kaboom. Where's the earth-shattering kaboom? Look, this whole place is blowing up. I'm not going to fight you guys. I think we can all agree, just, you know, run. Ow! Okay, I wasn't going to fight you, but... You take care, Beer Fox. Oh, that was funny. No! I didn't know I had to jump onto the other thing to try and escape. Jumping in these minecarts is probably the hardest part in this whole game. Because the perspective is weird. Because it doesn't really give you great depth, so... I think I'm jumping in the right direction, but then apparently I'm not. Wow, the bat can take a lot of arrows. Time to go. Well, where this is all exploding, but there's a campfire, so, you know, just... Okay, good. That was intense. I can't believe we're still alive, Your Highness. We're not home free yet. Big Bad Wolf.
I'm Krason, Slayer of Hordes. Khan warned me about a blackbird farmer. I see you have freed the princeling and destroyed my slave lair, but that all ends here, little buck.
Helmer, remember your training.
You don't need training to die alone.
We're not alone, Helmer. My place beside you, my blood for yours, till the green ember rises, or the end of the world. The prince and heir. Ah, okay. Well, he has a bow and arrow, at least. Oh, he's a terrible shot. Slave layer? Yeah, well, all the nice little rabbits like me were enslaved. We've already established these bad guys are bad guys. Like, they're pretty unequivocally just evil. Oh, you've been lurking? Makes sense. Yeah, no, in the last one, it was very... Like, our farm got attacked, and we got captured and enslaved. And we ran away, and then we realized the guy who helped us run away was the missing prince, whose name is a really weird reference to a medieval myth. Or, well, not his name, but his nickname. He went by Prester Jack. What an adventure, I know. And now we're fighting this wolf. I didn't mean to use my second healing thing there, but the game made me because of how the controls are. Okay, we can survive what? Well, actually, no, we can't survive one more hit. One more hit and we're dead. So this is going to go fine. Especially when my auto-targeting keeps dropping. Oh, never mind, we just won. That felt anticlimactic, just like the last boss fight. My prince, my friend, who quite a company with you. Yes, all freed from the Dragon Tomb. We must get to them to the Glen Care to receive the care they need. Good. Now let us get off this cursed island. Ah, yes, the cursed Grimble Island. This is where we part ways, my friend. I have a gift of thanks for you. It's a knife that was given to me by my father. Your Highness, this is too kind. I owe you so much, Helmer. Please, take it. Thank you, sir. I have something for you as well. This, I believe, belongs to you. The green ember! Right, because we found that, and then we just, like, buried it in the dirt. Thank you, Helmer. My place beside you always. When you call for me, I will come. But you go to find your father now. Yes, sir, and my sister. I fear the worst, but I must go and face what has happened to them. I must do all I can to find and protect them. I would go with you, but I must go and see my own father. He is in grave danger now, and the kingdom totters around us. I've been gone too long and have much to do. Can I help you, sir? Yes, Helmer. Help me by going home and being the very best you can be there. Our kingdom needs reform from the palace to the fields, and it does my heart good to know you are out there in those fields, a faithful one. I obey with great joy, sir. I feel like Helmer could be more importantly put to use in helping free out and
Helmer walked on from the crossroads and came to more and more familiar fields. While excited to return home, Helmer prepared to face the worst
should start a
possible
clue
news,
company.
that his family was lost
I wasn't fighting
and
horses.
his farm destroyed. Cresting a last rise, he looked down and saw it all. His home, the fields,
Helmer's clue.
and the stream flowing beside it. He rushed past the house and hurried to the spot where his father would often sit and watch the sunset. Rounding the bend, Helmer gazed up and saw two figures standing by the fence rail, their eyes trained on the spectacular sky beyond. "Oh!" he heard a familiar voice cry, old and full of joy. "My beloved son is home."
We did it! Okay, so thoughts. I think this is cute. If I had a kid who was reading this, I'd be like, oh, really cool. Let's have them play this. I think kids might find some of the combat a little frustrating, but my biggest complaint personally was that this was shown off at Reach Conference and was been like, look, it's a Christian book series. It's a Christian game. This had no Christian themes in it, really. Like, not against by any means, but this credits font makes you irrationally angry. Hi, Bree. Also, valid. Wait, which one? The, like, audio buy or, like, the bold? So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed in the lack of writing. Look, Romans, founder of Reach Conference, right there. The names, it's so default. So, like, really cool, but, like, also, I don't know, the writing just feels like it could have had something. Like, the whole bit earlier where we were in the prison cell with Prester Jack, and we're like, oh, our family, you know, he could have been like, oh, our faith teaches us this, and, you know, because I assume they have some analog of Christianity in the book series. I mean, I thought it was cute. I enjoyed it. Is that logo using Underwood Champion? I don't know fonts that well. I wish I knew fonts. I wish I was a font person. I'm not. But in some ways, that's good. However, there are a lot of things happening. There are 3 different fonts here. Because you have the Green Ember font, which, okay, that's the font of the book series. Then you have Helmer and the Dragon Tomb. And then the menu options. I want faith in my Christian game? I know, wild thought. Truly. And we have an interesting mix of serif and not serif, or sans serif. So yeah, I enjoyed this. And again, if I had a kid who was reading this series, I'd probably be all over this. But I think it could have. I think it had opportunity to do more. I hope that this studio succeeds and gets the opportunity to make more games for the Green Ember series, and can maybe dive. Because admittedly, this was, I think, the first game of this studio, but. And if not, it's certainly the first Green Ember game. So, you know, if they have more chances to engage a bit more with the world building and the narrative, there might be more of an opportunity to look at the Christian themes therein. Like, I think you could do a whole sequel game around Prince Jupiter and what he's up to. especially if it was like, maybe kind of more like a city builder kind of thing. Or like some sort of management sim. So yeah, so that was Green Ember. I don't really want to start Kina today, because like intros for games can take a while and I don't want to shortchange it. So I want to save that for next week. So what do we want to do? We still got like 40 minutes. Go back to, let me see what I have here in the inventory. Oh, I know what we're going to do. I was going to play this over New Year's, or like the New Year's-ish week. But then I got tired and sick. Goblinmon! Ah, that's tomorrow. But no. More Noah's Ark? No. Going Under! From Aggro Crab, the people who brought us Peak.
Welcome to the beautiful city of Neo Cascadia. Did you have a nice monorail ride? We at Cubicle would like to congratulate you on joining the ranks of over 100,000 employees hired through the Impoverished Intern Initiative. As the largest e-commerce corporation in the nation-state, we're proud to support the next generation of innovators. It might be hard to believe, but Cubicle started out as nothing more than a great idea from someone just like you. Like
Sarcasm is so heavy in the writing of this game.
Stories, Cubicle began as a startup, just a couple guys in a garage with nothing but a dream and a modest cash injection. That's why we're paying it forward. Since the inception of our company, we've acquired countless startups and provided them with funding and hard workers to help accelerate their success. Our friendly integrated AI has assigned you as a marketing assistant at our latest member of the family, Fizzle Beverages. By inventing a sparkling water that's also a meal replacement, Fizzle cleverly disrupted two industries at once. There's no better place for an intern to grow than somewhere
like a modest
Fizzle,
cash
where you'll never be
injection.
the smartest person in the
I
room.
think that can cause some pulmonary
When you're not
problems.
hard at work with Fizzle, you'll have plenty of time to experience some of the rich Pacific Northwestern culture our great city has to offer. Now, let's go over some ground rules for your internship. First of all, never, under any circumstances, explore beneath the...
Scrambled egg! Thank you for the follow. Welcome on in. Hey, not to be rude, but I already know this stuff. I had to watch the same video when I applied online. Oh, is that so? Oh, let's skip the formalities and get right to the fun part. I bet you're excited to meet your new coworkers, Jacqueline. Yeah, I can't wait. In that case, let's get this icebreaker underway. Just follow me over to the... Oh my god. What? What was that? Ugh. It looks like the monsters have started escaping the basement again. I really hate to do this to you on your first day, Jackie. Do what to me? Well, we can't go having a meeting with the thing running around the office, so I need you to do me a small favor and go kill that monster for me. What? Like, kill? Like, right now? Never killed a person, and you still won't have. You're probably not used to city life just yet, but here in Neo Cascadia, everyone kills their first monster sooner or later. If it makes life easier, pretend it's just a video game, and just picture its hit points slowly decreasing every time you land a blow. Consider your first task as a Fizzle Beverages new intern. Make us proud. To kill a monster, I guess. Oh, first time you've seen someone streaming this. Nice. Yeah, this game is full of the sarcasm around modern corporate culture, particularly in the tech industry. There you go. That wasn't so hard, was it? I feel sick. We've got some crates of antacid flavored fizzle in the pack. I don't know if I want it antacid flavored. I think I'd prefer it to be an antacid. You did a great job, Jackie. Thanks. Now, there's just one tiny little extra step we've got to take care of. Let's go down into the dungeon and kill the rest of them. Perfectly normal sentence. Wait, what? No way, dude. You need, like, an exterminator or something. Oh, it won't be hard, I promise. You took that one out so easily. There's probably 3 or 4 more lurking down that slide. I said, no, man. Find someone else. I'm not going down there. So be it then. I really had high hopes for you, Jackie. I reviewed your resume personally. But if you haven't got the motivation to work at Fizzle, maybe I should ask Avi to reconsider your position here. That's manipulative. Wait. Yes? I'll do it. I'll go down there and take a look. Oh, excellent. I knew I saw the spark in you, Jackie. Come back and see me more as soon as you've cleared out all those monsters. Oh, and don't take too long down there. Stand-up is in 15 minutes. You would try a bismuth soda? So yeah, I like this game because of its absurdity, and also the way it's like it's a fun roguelike. Because I'll be honest, when I first heard the premise, I'm like, how do you make... Yay, power-ups. The best defense against an unwanted conversation. Yes. But yeah, the premise of a roguelike against where you go into a dungeon to fight goblins. And that's literally your job. I don't know if you could... I don't want to say be trusted with it, because I don't want to give that impression. I don't think any of us should have a spinning saw blade around us. But space! I know, but also liability? Consume the job witch. Wait, I want the crossbow. It's just an intense hula hoop. Right. Rubber blade compromise? Look. I don't think I can compromise with you on that one, but... Regarding the unacceptability of long bathroom breaks taken by your contractors, from now on all toilet seats will be 45 degrees to encourage. I smell a productivity blocker. Are you the boss around here? Got sent down here. Guys really aren't supposed to be. We have no time for holdups. Not at this stage of the job. Eliminate this blocker, contractors, and then we will resume our daily sync up. Do not try to sneak away to the bathroom after the battle, or I will know. Oh, this game isn't real. Ooh, dear. Oh, dear. Yep.
I think you're supposed to lose that one.
Thank you, everyone, for joining me for our daily stand-up. You told us this was mandatory. Thank you, Swamp. His name is Swamp. First things first, I'd like to introduce all to our new intern. Everyone put your hands together for Jacqueline Fiasco. I'm here. I'm late. A new hire. This budget's just tight enough as it is. I do believe Miss Fiasco is unpaid, Toppy. Oh, thank God. Jacqueline, why don't you break the ice by telling us a bit about yourself? Start with your name, your favorite flavor of fizzle, and your deepest, most passionate life stream. You just told us her name. Be cool, Kara. My favorite fizzle flavor is, I guess, Szechuan apricot? I'm trying to imagine what that would taste like. I'm just trying... I almost think it could work. Yeah, spicy and peachy. Exactly. Almost. But the problem with Szechuan is it's like, that's the numbing kind of pepper. I dream one day of having health insurance. That is a sad dream. Huh. Uh-huh. A bold choice of flavor. I like her already. Jackie's here for a... What was the ad again? Marketing? A marketing internship! Is she interning 4 then? I thought Avi took all of our marketing. Try to be more open-minded, Kara. Obstinance equals obsolescence. Just because all our advertising PR is handled by a cutting-edge neural network doesn't mean that there isn't room for a human touch here and there. Well said, sir.
Vern, what's obstinance?
As for her specific duties, I'm sure Avi can come up with something for her. Until then, think of Jackie like our own little office assistant. If you need a helping hand with anything, don't be afraid to ask her. I must admit, it would be splendid to have someone to test my newest flavors out on. I could always use a second pair of eyes on the company finances. Whatever, guess I'm on board. Unless we have to rely on the machines around here, the better. You mean even I get to do score? Nice to meet you, everyone. That's the welcoming team I know and love. And speaking of which, how about we close our stand-up with our company chant? Fantastic idea, sir. I think I remember it. What do we make? Fizzle! What can it do? Replace breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Why do we make it? Scene. Come on, guys. You know this one. It's to make the world a better place. Oh, indeed. How could I forget? They usually get it right. It's a Monday. They understand. We're like a family around here. You'll see us soon enough, Jackie. I can't wait. Well, that concludes our daily stand-up. Have a great work day, everyone. Check staff to the meeting. We need to discuss our little job problem. This one tastes like a 9-volt battery. Say that like it's a bad thing. So, did you make it? Make it where? To the bottom! To the bottom of the dungeon! Where the boss hangs out. Does it look like I made it? I got my butt kicked, man. I'll be real with you. I don't even think it's possible to make it that far. That's no good, Jackie. You're gonna need to start thinking more positively if you want to make any progress. You don't think someone else might be better suited for this job? Yeah, it said there was a marketing internship. I'm not cut out for fighting monsters. I don't like the situation any more than you do, Jackie. But with those goblins constantly crawling up from underground and stealing our office supplies, we're never going to be able to meet our milestones. Deal with our little monster issues, and I promise we'll have you writing social media posts faster than you can hit the dabs. Or whatever kids your age do. So, I guess, do you want me to try again? You guessed right! Hang in there, Jackie. You'll be done with this task before you know it. Thanks, I hate it. This feels highly questionably legal. Unfortunately, it's a video game. I look very Zoroastrian today. I'm not sure what that means, but hi, Brianna. What's a few paper clips amongst fiends? Exactly. There's a very bad snowstorm here. Oh no! Oh, why I keep punching the sus cube. You hate living in Canada? That's fair. I've not lived there, so I can't say. Oh, I'm so bad at this game. I don't know why I tried throwing that. My brain is just like, decided it does not remember how to play video game. "47 centimeters of snow. Wow. Oh no, it's the Joplin delivery car. Which, yes, you can drive.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
My Snowden, nah, they were able to make it, they clear the sidewalks pretty well. Oh, Newfoundland, yeah. Yeah, I can get a lot of snow. Right, snow. I'm not sure what that means, and I'm gonna say I don't want to know.
Delivery for Jacqueline.
Yeah, I thought I would. I want B button to be dodge for some reason. Where am I from? I live in New York City. Can I bless your sacramentals? Unfortunately, I do have to be close to them to bless them. If it's New York, then hey. I mean, we do have snow. Be forewarned. Probably not as much as you, but New York is a great place to visit. I do quite love this city. The entrepreneur. Okay, this is a blast from the past joke. Flying over, fly back. It's kind of a little pricey and not the most eco-friendly. Well, you see, you made my humble garage. Remember those ads from like a decade ago now? This game's a little old, but a decade ago where it's like the guy, in my garage is my Lamborghini. Ever visit St. Patrick's Cathedral? I have, many times. I'll be there Friday for the installation of the new Archbishop. No offense, man, but I think everyone's kind of over the whole enigmatic shopkeeper thing. Just show me what you're selling so I can get out of here. Oh, you're a relentless one you are. Spending for cash is all well and good, but do you know what's better than items? Knowledge. In fact, I'm a far more proud of my vast collection of literature than I could ever be of my wares. Or my sweet car. But you do, like, sell stuff here, right? In a sense. But the price may be harsher than currency. The next 3 combats, you just keep moving forward at any cost. Sure. St. John's in Newfoundland have very beautiful basilica. Ooh. I have actually wanted to go to, like, the Maritimes of Canada. What? I guess I thought we're taking notes. I think we can attempt one more time before we have to wrap up today. Clap back. Take damage, knock down nearby enemies. Gain an empty heart. Given how I play, that is to say poorly, I feel like that one's going to be more useful. Nope, I didn't want to throw that. My brain got the commands all mixed up. Ow. You're intoxicated? Well, okay. I recommend drinking water at this point, then. Are we allowed to travel? Oh, yeah. No, priests, according to canon law, are given 4 weeks vacation a year. Yeah, whether priest has the reality and ability to do that is another question, but yeah, I'll take vacations. Intoxicate from a green plant. Ah.
Remember to leave a rating.
This is not the weapon I was expecting to find in a job satire roguelike, I'm not gonna lie. Take a vow of poverty. Yeah, so orders do take that, but even then orders will often have like
According to your
a
web
vacation
history,
house.
you'll love this one.
Which sounds fancier than it is. But like it's not uncommon for orders to have a place of retreat and rest and vacation. If I wanted to go to Disney World, how would I go? Make friends. Make very generous friends. No, I mean, like, I do get an allowance. Like, I am religious. I don't take a vow of poverty, technically speaking, but I basically live one. But as part of that, like, I do get an allowance for vacation. It's modest, but I can save it up and go to nicer places, or I can, you know, so usually, like, every other vacation, I spend it by going home. One thing I've taken up doing is chaplaining on cruise ships at, like, Christmas and Easter, because I'm not connected to the parish schedule for those, for the high holy days, as it were. And so they want chaplains on the ships, and they make it cheaper. Is that like a timeshare you with the other follows? Not really. I mean, we have a house in upstate New York at Lake George that was given to us in the 1860s or 70s, 1870s. So, you know, we've had it for a long time, and people are like, "Oh, lake house at Lake George, that sounds so fancy." It's like, it's pretty rustic. It's really nice, but it is still rustic. You know, that's a place I want to visit. Next secular place I'd want to visit would probably be... I feel like I just saw something where I was like, oh, that'd be really beautiful to go to. I don't know, I've always wanted to go to Australia. Ride the 2K minecarts. Isn't that a roller coaster, though? I don't really do roller coasters well. Impossible to focus. I barely do it anyway. Can I visit us? I mean, if I went to Australia and I submitted all the appropriate paperwork, which is like you have to send in a letter saying from your superiors being like, yeah, this guy is in fact a priest. He's not just some guy who bought a shirt on Amazon. Yeah, I would actually be allowed to celebrate Mass in Australia. Another place I'd like to go is Scotland. Do I like where I'm at right now, or Chance, would you like to be assigned? I mean, I'm open really to whatever the spirit has in store. I'm not trying to tell the Holy Spirit where to send me. I do like where I am and what I do. I do love working with Busted Halo and getting to do this, which is still sometimes mind-blowing. It's like, oh yeah, I get to stream video games as a priest. Yeah, I don't know. Really just about anywhere in the Polis I'd be happy serving, where we have foundations.
Thank you for your business.
I'll be streaming forever. When you say it that way, it sounds like a threat. Kid. What's like to live in your dream city? It's unfortunate. Well, reality is other people aren't going to be able to live your dream because it is yours. And just because they have certain circumstances which overlap doesn't mean it's still your dream. No, it's a hope. Okay. You know, and I do love New York, but it is also kind of crazy. That's been one of the really fascinating things, like, because in seminary, I was in Washington, D.C., but, like, we'd come visit New York pretty often, because it's our mother church of the community. You know, all the ordinations are done up here. So we'd come visit, and it's like, oh, cool, we got to go hang out in New York and go check out Times Square and Broadway and everything. And it's like, oh, New York is like the capital of the world and, you know, the center of a lot, and it is. But also, it's surprisingly local. Like, be a teenager living New York, chasing your dreams. It's fair. Nice thing is that New York will continue to be here, and you know, it's something you can work towards. Gonna be a millennial, get the avocado toast. A father joke? Yeah, like, may not be a teenager ever again, but I mean, there are some things that are easier or better to do as an adult. As a teenager, you can't rent a car or... I guess I have a really bad father joke for you relative to this, Kevin the Reader. You know, when you're working in the church, be careful, because what you may think is a job offer might actually be a Job offer. I don't think you've ever bought avocado toast. I don't think I've ever bought it, but I've certainly made it.
perfect cube every time.
Oh no! Oh, I have made a mistake. The caffeine. It's a good title. Oh. Wait, why did I come back to life? I'm confused. I was looking at chat. Oh well. Oh no! The random coffee can exploded on me. Ah well. That was fun. Your mother kept playing in the back door. Mama Mary do be like that. Well, I think that's what we're gonna call it for the day. I just wanted to show this off. It's a fun little game. Same people that made Peak, and I think it shows in the art style. Yeah, what is gluttony is tricky. It's you know, especially because like what is the appropriate amount of food for one person can vary so differently. Aristotle goes into length at this in his Nicomachean Ethics. But you know, keep discerning and finding what's appropriate, and trusting in God to help you in that. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with you all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Join us again tomorrow for Minecraft, working on the Cobblemon, building the church there. And Thursday, Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. Good old classic. And then next Monday, Pokemon TCG. Potentially wrapping it up, but probably not. Probably gonna go into the 4th episode, and that's fine. And then Tuesday, starting Kina, Bridge of Spirits. So yeah, so I think that's everything. Oh, and not this Friday, but next, bonus stream, celebrating 600. So thanks so much to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you for checking out the YouTube and the Discord. My thoughts on that announcement. It seems odd, that's all. But I'm not a part of that organization, so I'm just going to wait and see what happens. But anyway, thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. What time bonus? Great question. TBD. But yeah, let's see who's live that we can raid into. Gonna send you over to Zaphanath Panea. He's playing Hollow Knight. Looks like it's his first time. Just a fun guy. Go give him some love. Raid call. Just go talk around in the background. No, it's probably just one of my coworkers leaving. Anyway, hope you have a great rest of your day. Raid call is Father Raid, but go give Zaf some love. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. God bless.